Hi, I'm Erik Voss, and Avengers Infinity War's most enduring mystery throughout this wait period for Avengers 4 is, what the hell was Doctor Strange thinking? Like, why did he surrender the Time Stone to Thanos the way we gave our fruit roll-ups to those girls who beat us up in grade school? Why didn't he just cut off Thanos' arm with that portal? You could get the gauntlet and a bonus gift of a big severed purple hand. With all the updates from Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp and other Avengers 4 news that we've been covering meticulously, I'm going to give my theory of what Doctor Strange's actual plan was. Now let's start by re-examining Infinity War from Doctor Strange's perspective. In the first half of the film, his primary priority is to protect the one Infinity Stone in his possession.
If it comes to saving you, or the kid, or the Time Stone, I will not hesitate to let either of you die.
But after joining the Guardians on Titan, Strange uses a Time Stone to look at all the possible future scenarios, 14,605,000 to be exact, and he says that they only win in one of those scenarios. Now, we don't see the Avengers discussing their battle plan, but it appears that Strange's strategy is to stall Thanos. He stalls him with one-on-one conversation, then he stalls him by trying to hold him down so that they can wriggle that gauntlet off, and when that fails, he stalls Thanos in a magical duel until he bargains with Thanos by giving him the Time Stone in exchange for Tony Stark's life. So I think that we can assume that everything Strange does between looking into the future to this moment is all part of his plan. A plan that he didn't fully share with Stark and the others. A narrowly tailored plan with specific steps and conditions that lead to the one future scenario of Thanos' defeat. So let's break down those conditions, and I consider there to be 5 big ones. First, Strange needed Tony Stark to be left alive so that he can deliver the fatal strike against Thanos. I think one of the most understated moments of the fight against Thanos was the moment Iron Man drew blood from the Mad Titan.
All that for a drop of blood.
I think there's more to this than we realized. It's one thing for an Asgardian demigod with a star-forged battle axe to cut Thanos' flesh, but for the human Tony Stark to make him bleed like that felt curiously vulnerable for Thanos. And that might be because it's kind of a callback to a moment from Iron Man 2.
If you can make God bleed, then people will cease to believe in him.
In the same way that Mickey Rourke seemed to miss and fail in his first round against Stark, perhaps Strange hopes Stark makes the connection that sometimes just drawing blood is enough to gain the confidence that you can one day topple a giant. So Strange's final duel against Thanos could have just been more stalling to give Stark time to tag in and learn this key lesson. Thinking about it, why go to this trouble? They were so close to removing the gauntlet earlier. You can almost see Thanos' palm. But then Star-Lord Peter Quill ruined it by losing his cool over Gamora's death and punching Thanos in his face, breaking him out of his trance. So why didn't Strange just remove Star-Lord from the equation and open a portal underneath him and leave him with that handless Cull Obsidian on a mountain? That brings us to our second condition. I'll get to that, but first, thank you to our sponsor, World of Tanks Blitz. World of Tanks Blitz is a massive online game. It's really fun, and it's free to play on iOS, Android, Mac, Steam, and Windows 10. World of Tanks Blitz features high intense battles and tons of customization. It actually just added a new feature called the Mad Games Arena. It's a new sandstorm battlefield where survivors can use modded vehicles to claim post-apocalyptic tanks. There's the Scavenger and the Gravedigger. The Scavenger actually is the most popular vehicle in the Wasteland. It's super maneuverable and good for dodging enemy shells. Meanwhile, the Gravedigger is awesome. It's got heavy armor that's great for ramming and a fast shooting gun. By the way, these vehicles were actually made in collaboration with Peter Pound. He was a principal vehicle designer for the movie Mad Max Fury Road. These things look awesome. Make sure to download World of Tanks Blitz for free by clicking on the link below or by going to spawns.org/newrockstars. Okay, back to that second condition, Doctor Strange's plan. Strange needed Nebula to join the group in order to use guilt to weaken Thanos. Another understated game changer in Thanos' battle was the arrival of Nebula. After all, it was she who confirmed that Thanos murdered Gamora, which led to Quill's fateful decision. And interestingly, only Nebula is left alive with Stark on Titan at the end of the film. Also interestingly, after Thanos' snap, he has to again confront his heartbreaking decision to sacrifice Gamora for the Soul Stone.
What did it cost?
Everything.
I think Nebula's survival is a key condition to Thanos' eventual defeat. She knows how much it weakened Thanos emotionally to have to kill his favorite daughter. And that guilt is certainly something that Stark can exploit, perhaps using his own guilty memory machine, BARF, binary augmented retroframing. And we've seen from set photos that there is an orange briefcase with binary augmented retroframing written on it. It's gonna factor into the Avengers 4 plot somehow. I should also point out that in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, Nebula is the one character to steal wield Thanos' gauntlet and lead the way to his defeat. So I assume she must play a role in this endgame somehow. And I think that also goes for the other Marvel heroes who were benched for this battle, bringing us to our next condition, starting with Ant-Man. I think Strange needed an Avenger to be left in the quantum realm at the time of the snap. Remember, Doctor Strange briefly visited the quantum realm during his magical mystery tour through the various realities. Perhaps Strange knows that something about the quantum realm can help them. Quantum energy, or someone else living in that quantum realm city that was spotted in the background of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Another benched hero was Captain Marvel. I think Strange needed Nick Fury to finally summon his ace in the hole. In the final moments of Avengers Infinity War, Nick Fury contacts Carol Danvers, who apparently is the most powerful Avenger. I assume that in Strange's vision of that one future scenario, Captain Marvel joins the hero lineup, and the only way to get her into the mix was to allow Thanos to wreak such a calamitous disaster that Nick Fury had to give her a ring. But the exact lineup of that final assault on Thanos is probably the most important condition. Doctor Strange needed the original Avengers to be back on one side with the right motivation. It's pretty easy to notice that the survivors of Thanos' snap included the original Avengers, including Hawkeye, who will appear in Avengers 4. And isn't it interesting how all these characters witnessed a heartbreaking loss? Stark watched Peter Parker dust away in his arms, Cap saw his best friend Bucky go down, Thor saw Loki and Heimdall die earlier in the film, and you could argue that Banner and Natasha are already haunted by all the blood on their hands. And who knows who Clint could have lost in the snap? Maybe his whole family. You don't get that kind of haircut on a whim. Strange must know that in order for these people to be Avengers, they need something to avenge. After Civil War divided them, they needed a shared sting of defeat to bring them back together. And that brings me back to the moment Strange surrenders the Time Stone to Thanos. Why does it seem to appear from out of nowhere, hidden amongst the stars of the background? And why does it glow as it floats over to Thanos, when, as we saw throughout the movie, Infinity Stones only seem to glow when they're being used? I think the Time Stone is being used in this moment by Doctor Strange. I think the place he was hiding it was in the future. Stay with me here. It is looking more and more likely that Avengers 4 will feature some kind of time travel elements, or splitting into parallel realities. I've made like a dozen videos on this subject, you can watch any of them. But one possibility we haven't really explored is this. When Strange told Tony Stark, "We're in the endgame now," Strange was clearly referring to the game of chess, the final phase of the game in which both sides begin making key sacrifices to close in on and checkmate the king. As the arguable smartest mind of the Marvel Cinematic world, Strange is probably playing three-dimensional chess here. And I think one of those dimensions is time. Stall Thanos in the present on Titan, while you send the Time Stone itself forward in time to the reunited Avengers of the future, who then use that Time Stone to rewind the clock to key past battles and fix the messes that the Infinity Stones have caused. Imagine an Avengers 4 in which the surviving Avengers are visited by a past projection of Doctor Strange. Ooh, I'm the ghost of Infinity War past, and there was a reason I let you lose, because nothing brings people together like being a bunch of losers. Here's the Time Stone. I'm projecting it from the past. Use it, and then give it back to me so I can trick Thanos into thinking he won. Once this task would be completed, Strange could return back to that moment on Titan to close the loop, give Thanos the Time Stone, and allow the Mad Titan to set the stage the precise way Strange needs him to have that future conversation. Yes, this all sounds very complicated, I know. But Doctor Strange is a very complicated man. You don't look ahead to 14,605 future outcomes and not gain some crazy specific insight into the fickle nature of cause and effect. But let me know what you think. What other conditions do you think need to have been part of Doctor Strange's plan? Comment down below with your thoughts on this theoretical Doctor Strange plan, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Erik Voss. And another reminder about War of Tanks Blitz, guys. To support this channel, go to spawns.org/newrockstars. And there you can download and play World of Tanks Blitz for free. And of course, subscribe to New Rockstars to see me pull apart Avengers Infinity War like a child doing a terrifying autopsy on his favorite toy. Look, mommy, I made it even more magical. This is what you get for homeschooling me.